Hello and welcome to All In. It's a Melbourne Cup edition. We've got a great guest joining us in-house at the moment, G Hall, just in the background. He'll chime in a minute's time.
Has he got
Dean
pants
Watley,
on?
does he have pants on? Big fan of big fan of Lewis Willoughby, you said, which is good.
Yeah.
Unbelievable scenes. G'day, Louis. How are you?
Yeah, good guys. I got to tell you, Randwick got me yesterday. In not just from a punting perspective, boys. I'm struggling today, and maybe it didn't help that I didn't back many winners. That never helps, right? By the time that Autumn Glow came around in the Eagle, I was chasing. I took her on with Sepples. Um,
Mm.
so I backed second, and whoever ran third, their linebacker. So I'd get second and third, but I lost. It was the story of the day, really. I took on Tentyrus, etc., etc. So I got towed up, but we push on. That was only day 1 of 4, gents. Plenty to come, including this big Tuesday Melbourne Cup preview.
Absolutely. If you thought you were struggling, there was someone in the shower at 3 a.m. with cold water pouring on them that I thought,
Ah,
I thought, gee whiz, this person by the name of Dean Watling, he may not make any show, but here he is, and he looks $1,000,000. G'day, Dino.
Yeah, afternoon or morning, boys. I'm on the quick back. I'm feeling good. I found a couple of lakes. Gano's gave me a gust spray inside. So I'm currently on Gareth's balcony and Gano's inside. So we've had to split up for the show. But no, it's good to be here. And it was an interesting day yesterday, wasn't it? Somewhat a favourite stay. A lot of horses that probably we should have found one and somewhat looked outside. I gave it a lot of mine back at the end of the day, Lou. So I'm in similar boat to you. But good day's racing and fascinating cup. We'll touch on the weather soon, but that's another factor to add to it all too.
Louis, before we go, obviously, how do you feel? Obviously, one of the only media talent to not make it down to Melbourne and not make it to Oasis. So, like, they've copped the daily double, and there you are at Bondi, just doing it tough in your one-bedroom
yeah,
apartment. Unbelievable.
yeah. Look, it's a tough gig, guys. Obviously, great to be. It would be great to be in Melbourne, but there could be worse things. I was doing radio from the track yesterday, and then I got to spend it out there, drinking Aperols on Golden Eagle Day. So definitely could be
Mm.
worse, fellas.
Did you get the green, yellow, red sort of setup going yesterday? Obviously, you'd be a red man.
Ah, I'm a red man. I
Mm.
tried to get my single mates to get in there and have a crack, but they wouldn't have a bar of it. I don't think a green badge would have helped them anyway, to be honest.
Georgie Carpenter was in there, Beery's right-hand man, and he was swamped. I think it was described as a chip in the seagulls. Obviously, Georgie being a chip. So unbelievable scenes there at Randwick. Good to see big crowds at both tracks. It's super. Anyway, let's go to a Melbourne Cup preview. Louis, you've got some stats. Dino, you've got fair few as well. Before we dive into the stats, 30 millimetres of rain forecast to fall from basically, I think, early Monday morning, all the way through to Tuesday. And then Tuesday, looking about 6 mils on race day. So it will ease, but probably not enough to avoid a heavy track, I'd imagine, albeit one of the best training surfaces in the world,
Mm.
if not in
Mm.
the world, it's definitely in Australia. You'd still think we're going to be on a heavy 8 though, Lou. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, fair enough. I was going to leave the weather and track prediction to you guys. You're down there, so heavy 8. That's interesting. You're right. It does drain very well, Flemington. So you obviously kind of. I always take a point off of what you think it's going to be, given the normal weather, because that's how good it goes. But yeah, heavy 8, soft 7. It is what it is, right? You'll just have to try and dive into your form and make sure that they can handle a wet track if possible. It sometimes can be hard to gauge. Obviously, the overseas form, different kind of track rating, like they're soft or yielding or whatever, they were sloppy, whatever they want to call it, can be different sometimes to what our soft and heavy is. So it makes it another piece of the puzzle.
Right, Donna, man. Talk us through it, Dino. Give us the stats, the reasons, or maybe some edges that the punters can look for looking towards the
Mm.
Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, it used to be a massive stats race, probably up until the last 5, 6 years when we had obviously the vet protocols come in. A lot of those stats somewhat have changed. What I would say is I would not stress too much about barriers. I think if
Mm.
anything, it's probably a positive to draw out in this race. 7 of the last 10 horses to win this race have all drawn barrier at 12 plus. I think there's been a couple of 17, 18, 19s sort of in there, which sort of tells you that getting to the outside, getting clear air at the right times, a recipe for this. Key lead ups, boys. I found this intriguing. I think in the back of my mind, pre doing this, I always tend to think horses first up overseas probably have the advantage. But the last 10 years, only 3 horses have been first up to win this race overseas, coming from overseas, sorry. That was Twilight Payment. That was Cross Counter Rekindling. So 2 of those were those Northern Hemisphere 3-year-olds sort of set up. Outside of that, Bendigo Cup last year, Caulfield Cup year before, back-to-back Cox Plates of Gold Trip, very elegant. And then before that, we obviously had Bound Declare Caulfield Cup, Prince of Penzance, Moonee Valley Gold Cup, and the Herbert Power. So looking at the stats somewhat, and weight hasn't really had a whole lot to do with the recent years. I know we went through that period where it was so select between that 51, 54 kilos, but we've had 56 and a half, 57 and a half, 57, 55 and a half. So I think it's a changing cup in regards to stats. Where's that point us? I think I'm looking for the strongest lead-up race. I want a horse to have a run before it gets to this race. I think Caulfield Cup and the Cox Plate, the two key there. And barriers, I sort of want to draw somewhat 8+ out. I think that's the key. Lou, I don't know if you had any stats there, but that's sort of what I found.
Yeah, I just wanted to add this one I found on X this morning. I was just scrolling through, having a read, and Capping Racing put this up. They'd obviously done a bit of work on it. Just shout out to them. It's just in regards to odds. So one favourite in the last 19 years has won the race. Since 2000, if you exclude 101 Prince of Penzance and $91 Knight's Choice. So take them out of the data set. The average winning price since 2000 is $14.22. So it just gives you an idea if you're looking at a price-based perspective for horses you like in the Cup, whether or not you start to think these at the top of the market are a little short, which sounds crazy because it's often $7 the field. So, it's an interesting one. That's just from a price perspective.
What happens if you took out the two outliers at the top, Louis? Like you probably end up around $21.
It was $20.76, including those two.
Good guess. Righto,
spot on.
Bit of insight there. Something to work with for the punters out there that just want to work off some numbers, some stats. If you want to pen a few horses, there's 24 of them. I wonder if they'll all go around if we're on a heavy track. Some of them dead set. Like some of them will be like Eric DeHeel. They'll need floaties. They go that bad in the wet. So interesting to see. Right, we're going to work on reverse market order. Basically, possibles, probables, and obviously we'll be penning. So we'll kick off with horses odds courtesy of Tab. The Green Machine, Land Legend, $81. Dino, just go through it. We'll go Dino, Louis, me.
Yeah, not for me. I think it needs a dry deck and not going as good as last year. Lou?
Pen.
Yep, not going well enough.
Possible. It's loose. We'll throw it in. Smoking Romans, pen job for me, Dino.
Yep, pen job for me too.
Look.
Yep. No, nothing for me here. Not going well enough.
Changing of the guard?
No, not for me, Lou.
Drawn 24 of 24. You'd have to be very good, and it isn't.
Booked this first time. Pen. Athabascan, pen.
Yep, pen.
Where's that? Yeah, Itchery won. It's interesting. Tell you what, I pen, but that Moonee Valley win of One Smooth Operator, I've put in as a probable, and it was only under a length off it. Like pen, but I'd pen the other three harder at the same price.
Louis, I know you're half hungover. You're gonna have to put your video up so we can get all of your head in this as well. Otherwise, Luke Hover Nation, he'll be steaming. He'll be blowing up. You get the good half of your head. You want to see all of you. Arapaho, top 10 chance for me, but can't be winning.
Yeah, he's a sneaky one on a heavy deck, absolutely mudlark. But he generally goes a bit better on a good track before this. That's a query, Lou, but he's definitely a good roughie.
If it's wet, which it should be, and he ran a number that he was running to win a Sydney Cup back in the autumn, I'm genuinely thinking top 6, but they are big ifs, and he's not running those numbers at the moment. The Bendigo Cup was a little better, maybe getting towards it, but yeah, if he was in autumn form with a heavy track, he's 100% top 6 chance, but he's not.
Unbelievable. Parchment Party, Matty Hill said he should be 5,000 to 1. He's done the form on this horse, so I'll cop that. I'll cop that tip and put him in the pen areas. I don't think any of you lads are that keen on the horse, are you?
No, pen.
I took a quick look at his American form. I said he wanted to try and find him like top 10, top half, but nah, he's beaten absolute donkeys over there.
More felons, pen for me.
I thought this was a sneaky right. It's going really, really well. Needs a fast tempo to see it at its best. Got to sit and sprint last start. Wet track concern, but I think it will get 3,200. I think it's a sneaky top 10 horse, Lou.
We'll need a lot of luck from 23, I would have thought.
32 shoes needs it dry. Another horse luckless is probably going to meet a heavy track. Dino?
Pen for me, Lou.
Yeah. And always interested when it's him, O'Brien, but no.
Middle Earth, $34 seems ridiculous. Pen?
Yep, pen for me.
No idea how it ever won that Group 1 in Sydney. Like, just no idea.
Royal Supremacy, $34. Pen.
It's going all right, this horse. I don't think it's going that bad. I think it's a sneaky top 15 or top 10 maybe horse. Lou.
I thought
Yeah,
they bet the
I
top
reckon.
15 now, are
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I didn't
I
want to say
think
top 10.
I think a top 10 chance, but I just don't know if it's going to get the trip. Like, it got home well enough in the Caulfield Cup. The win at Randwick Prior was really good. Fast tempo, finished fast. That's all ticks for this kind of stuff. I just little niggle 21 barrier and a question mark on the trip. But if it gets 3,200 meters, definite top 10 chance.
Torresino?
No.
Nor me. Chevrolet Rose, another horse that probably like Goody Two Shoes. Like if it was a dry deck, both of them would be some chance, but no chance on a wet track for me. Chevrolet Rose.
Yeah, gets it on a dry, but Japanese horse, we know what they're like on wet tracks. They often don't run it. Obviously, hasn't really seen one, Lou, but pen for me.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been going well enough in Japan. It's also an 8-year-old and needs a dry deck. Yep, no for me.
Vauban.
Fascinating third attempt at the Cup. Won't be starting favourite this year, and I've backed the last two Cups. So it probably turns up for wins, but no, I don't think it's going as good. I think if they ride it off speed, that's the trick for this horse.
Yeah, I just don't think he's going good enough. And he's been disappointing in 2 editions of the race so far. If he was in good form, you'd maybe have a throw at the stumps third attempt, but he's just not going well enough, I don't think.
Waddling off, key gear change.
Yeah, that is key.
I think rain effect is not the end of the world for him either. So I think I'll put him in the probables list there. And Blake Shin, barrier 2 won't do a whole lot of work. So definitely have it there. Flatten the curve.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about this horse. You can probably elaborate on it more. It's a no from me. I think big figure last start. It's in form coming to this. I just like a horse that has had that run before, has the right weight, right setup. Gate 17 won't issue it. It's probably a top 10 chance for me, Lou.
Yeah, it looks really kind of douse. One pace just keeps plugging and plugging and plugging. I think the wet will be okay for it. I just want to mention the jock's name. His name is Thor Hammer. Are we talking about this enough? His name is Thor Hammer. You've got to have something on him, surely. Yeah. What a name!
I'll tell you what, he hasn't missed a local night spot here. That's for sure. So if we can get him focused on the track, old Thor.
He needs some shades on. He does.
He needs some blinkers on Thor, but
Stallion chain. Yeah, everything.
I might inquire about this post podcast. I think.
No, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. But look, I think the horse got a good chance. I think one of the horses with the best wet track credentials going in. You look at that heavy, and it was on the dirt. It was like a dirt heavy. Yeah, Saratoga. So like just pen. It's like mud, pen that. It's completely irrelevant. I think the horse has a chance, like a genuine chance of winning the race. He's won 7 of his last 8. Like that's none of these horses have done that, and I get it. And they probably haven't quite been at the this level, but boys, that's pretty good. That's pretty good form. Absurd. Probably should have won last year's Cup. Over the hurdles now, become a hurdler. Wasn't too bad in the Caulfield Cup. $23. Happy to take it on though on a reasonably rain affected track.
Yeah, good run in the Caulfield Cup. I think it's a possible for this race. Run the trip before, we know it gets it. It has been steamed every time it's come to in this race. Gate 4 probably helps as well. K-Mac loves the big race. But like you mentioned, probably heavy deck takes away from this horse's chances, Lou.
Yeah, beaten, just over a length and a half. Got last year's edition, that is. 3 lengths in the Caulfield Cup, but was okay. Really good second up record. 3 wins, 3 minor placing, 7 starts. That's good. But yeah, he just did not need a drop of water, I would have thought. And that is going to cruel his chances.
Further, just too many queries for me getting $21 about this horse.
This is the horse I've got absolutely no idea on. It's lightly raced, 52 kilos, a good gait. How good it is, I've got no idea. I'm looking for its form. It obviously brings probably inferior form, but in saying that's only had 8 runs. So one that I want to have on my side, I want to take on. So probably in the possibles there, Lou.
Yeah, I can agree with Dino. You go through the form guide, it's rocks and diamonds, real good, then beaten, then back to good, then gets gapped, then wins, then it got beat. Then it just is up and down and up and down. But you're right, good weight profile, good draw. Yeah, at $21, it maybe has come around a little too quick for him, but I think you'd hate to have him going as a loser, possibly, maybe just to get your money back or something, even if it happened to lob.
One smooth operator. Wow, with a dry deck, he'd be some chance, but wet track form is absolutely just non-existent here, lads.
Yep, he's somewhat like Prince of Iran. When he comes out, he just absolutely laps it up. But like you mentioned, his chances are completely cruel by this wet track. They're just praying that the rain and the forecast people completely offload.
Yeah, 100%. I had him in as a probable or whatever it is, but yeah, this weather looks like it's going to cruel his chances. They were saying he was going no good in terms of his form. The camp were really confident he was going even better, and then he proved that at Moonee Valley when they waited for the dry deck and won. So it's almost a bit of a shame because he clearly is in good form.
He's flying, absolutely flying. And if it's a dry deck, he could win the race, but seems there's absolutely little chance of that occurring, given the forecast. Look, the best the track can probably get back to is a 6, you'd imagine, if it does stop raining by that time. So still, he's a real dry tracker. So happy to forget him and put a pen through him. River of Stars. Talk to me about this horse, Dino. 7-year-old mare. She was really good in the Caulfield Cup. Got some good wet track form. Getting around $17. I think that's definitely over the odds.
Well, you look at the runs, obviously, in a Caulfield Cup, Valiant King's $8 and River of Stars is 18. So we saw that race was set up for back markers. They went really hot up front and they all charge home. Slight query we touched on, Gano, off the show was Circle Race was there. It was actually an advantage to be on the rails and closer to the inside. Went around in Sydney Cup, towed up by Arapaho. Second prep as an import. I know a couple of people love that. I think it brings a terrific profile. Has the lead up run, Caulfield Cup. I like the draw out wide. Tactical speed. We haven't touched on it yet, but there's not a whole lot of speed on paper, I don't think. Don't think it'll be a breakneck speed. I think it's a massive chance, top 6 chance, and a probable for me, Lou.
Yeah, I've seen a few people make this problem. I'm going to play the devil's advocate and go the other side. I think it just kind of jumped out of the box in a Caulfield Cup, had a real suck running behind him, did absolutely no work. It was a $91 chance. It was $151 behind Sir Delius the start prior. You mentioned, Dino, it got beat by Arapaho in the autumn. I would just be concerned that it can't replicate the spiked figure of last start, and you're also not getting the price. Like, you've now got to take $17 if you think it's going to try and replicate that number. It's not going to get the suck run again. I'm not saying it's going to get a hard run, but from barrier 14, Bo's going to have to, make sure he finds a spot in that running line. I would rather bet that it doesn't replicate that and take it on.
Love it. Maidan. We've spoken about Sini's ride in length in previous episodes, so we need to go back there. Gets J-Mac on and would be an enormous chance on anything soft 5 or better, but just going back and just by Frankel, looking at the form, I'm thinking is a massive, massive query over this horse's credentials on a rain-affected track.
Yep, I agree. Really good. Picked up late in the Caulfield Cup. Well, I reckon that's going to be the key form one for this year's event. Key jockey change. Don't worry about 22 with J-Mac. And probably better for this horse. He's a big galloping horse. I doubt you'd want him strung up between horses in the run. But like you mentioned, slight query at 3,200 as well. And I doubt that's going to make it easier if you have a wet deck, Lou. So probably not for me.
I was really hoping this horse drew a better barrier. I know you say don't worry about 22 with J-Mac, but gee, you need to be good from there. And he is. I kept seeing him talk about this horse on social media. The racing vlogger bloke interviewed him, and he just gets more and more and more confident every time he talks about the horse. Obviously, I don't think J-Mac's going to go up to people and go, "Nah, it's got none." But he just seemed really that it's going really well. But yeah, queries are the draw, the wet track, and at the 3,200 metres, I still have a little bit of a question mark over. Yeah.
Louis, Blogger would have inspired Dino at 3 a.m. in that cold shower. No wonder J-Mac's up and about.
Yeah, that's
That was a
true.
good interview, though. I listened to
Yeah,
that
it's
because
good.
he
Yeah.
pretty much said he didn't really think it was a chance prior to getting on it in the
Yeah. And
scallops.
then, yeah.
Now he's got a bit of confidence, so interesting.
Our river,
I want to see the price just quickly for Maidan. Sorry. If it got out to a,
$15.
yeah. So if it started to get to the 20
There's,
buck mark,
there's no way
you
it'll get
reckon?
to that price. Well, you got James on, so
James, yeah.
Yeah.
you'll still pay that
Yeah.
tax. Our
Yeah.
Riffer, clearly the best horse in the race, our Riffer, but got to carry 59 kilos, never been to the 3,200 meters, and well, it's going to probably feel like 34, 3,600 meters come Tuesday. Fast weight for age horse, 59 kilos is a lot of weight. Dino, you get Zara, who, as he said yesterday on Like a Lucy, wasn't sure what it was like to lose. He was in career best form there at Flemington. What are your thoughts?
Yep, come through the Irish St. Ledger, which can be a key lead up to this one. Its last two over there in Ireland. I'll play devil's advocate with the weight. I know we touch on weight, and the top weights often have a plain record. You've got to be elite horse, but I think that the landscape of this race has completely changed the last 5 years in regards to the class of horses coming here. Um, I don't think it's as bad as a negative. I think the stats sort of line it up. I think I touched on it the last sort of 4 or 5 years. We've seen horses 55.5 to 57 win this race. Yes, 59's different. Brings the right time form ratings, which I know some use. That's elite. Mark Zara's in terrific form. I don't want to be against this horse. I think he can win. Yes, 3,200. It's a slight query, but he was pretty good in the last start. 61.5 kilos, winning over 2,800. The wet track's the query for me, Lou. Just not sure what the Wooten Bassett's like. It heavy, soft would be fine.
Yeah. So he's had a couple of soft runs this time last year. Was second in one of them, carrying 61 kilos to City of Troy. Only got beaten a length. That's pretty good. And then was down the track in a one behind Blue Stocking on a soft track. I think this course can clearly carry weight. Its last two wins at the Curragh, it's carried 62 and 61.5 over 2,800 meters. So I think I know that they say horses don't win the Cup with this kind of weight, but as you guys just said, he's got the right credentials to be given a top weight. He's very well prepared by Joseph O'Brien. Mark Zara's flying. Needs a little bit of luck from the draw. I think you would have to have a bet on him. You're getting a pretty good price to find out if he can, defy history and carry this weight.
Yeah, good horse, can win the race. Probably just needs to be more like a soft 6, soft 7. So a bit of sting out's fine. Absolutely. I think he probably actually relish a bit of sting out, a bit more so than a good track. But then there's that inflection point that gets too wet when you carry that weight and it just becomes too much of a struggle. And I think he's a class horse because he can have a turn of foot in a contest that might end up being just a true staying test that might find him out, which then therefore becomes a little bit tougher. But with a big weight overcoming a wide draw, where does he get to in the run? There's enough negatives there to expect that you get $10 about that horse. So if you wanted to compare him to a Buckaroo that's also $9, I would much prefer to have our Riffer over Buckaroo, who has drawn better. And we'll get to that horse in a minute, but leave me out of Buckaroo, Dino.
Yep. Interesting horse, Buckaroo. Obviously, one thing I found this morning, he brings a better rating to this race coming out of the Cox Plate than he did last year. He's rating prior to the Melbourne Cup. And you could make a case he wins that race of even luck last year. Is he going as good regardless of ratings? I'm not sure. I think he woke up last start. Maybe this is a Chris Waller peak. I think the prep is dead similar to when Very Elegant won this race and had a really similar run in the Cox Plate as well. I think he's a massive chance. I think wet's fine for me. Perfect gate, Craig Williams. I just don't know about horses' second attempt at the Cup. It's not the best recipe looking into it. 57 kilos, that's the query, but I'm definitely having him as a probable Lou.
Yeah, he's a probable. He goes up 2.5 kilos. I think this year's race is stronger than last year's race, but you're right. He was kind of, I don't want to say mixing form because he's placed all runs this preparation, but we just kind of thought, I thought one of them could be a victory. The latest run was very good. We know that V16 form is good. Have to make it a result. But then, as you said, Gano, they're both at $9. Gun to your head, who would you rather take? I'd probably go Al Riffer at that if they're at equal price.
Yeah, exactly. Look, you wouldn't be completely shocked if the horse won the race, but just from a betting perspective, I'd be more than happy to take him on. And I'm working on a heavy deck, and I just go back and I look at that, fail in the Hollandale on a heavy 9 up there on the sunny coast, and it was a proper fail, and it was failed due to the conditions of the track. There was no other excuses. Kind of think, that's enough to sort of scare me off. But I don't think that once again would mind the sting out of the track being a 6 or a 7, probably similar to our Riffer, but anything worse than that, then it becomes a bit of a slogfest. You can't back them all and got to take some of them on. Presage Nocturne, pretty good. The grey down the outside. Also has a huge heavy track failure, but then has handled heavy tracks in the past, and we watched the replay of that this morning. Didn't want to go yard. I can't read French, so I couldn't tell what that stewards report said, but might have to do some Google translating later on. But in all truthfulness, I actually couldn't find the stewards report, so difficult sort of stuff to work out. He's really good if you go off his Caulfield Cup run. He's got to be right in the race. Down the outside, a bit more so than the horses on the inside. Probably some sort of merit to that as well, Dino.
Yep, outstanding. I think the Caulfield Cup's the key lead up to this race, and his run was the best of the Caulfield Cup with the closers. They did get the right tempo to run on, but back wide was not the setup that day at Caulfield around the circle races. I think that was the best dress rehearsal for this race. Don't want heavy. I think I would be a little bit more scared to back him if it was a heavy. Soft 6, soft 7, I think he's a phenomenal chance. Draws the best lead up run to this race. I think he's a massive hope in this. Heavy, like we mentioned, though, it's just hit and miss with this horse. He's got a weird build. If you get a look, we looked at him. He's built low to the ground. He just doesn't give off the wet tracker vibes at all. But he's a massive chance in this year's race and definitely a probable.
Trivia: when's the last time a international jockey won the Melbourne Cup?
No idea.
2014. It was 2014. Ryan Moore and Protectionist. Since then, all Australians. You look at previous overseas jocks to win the race. So obviously Ryan, Christophe Lemaire, Gerald Mossé. Unfortunately, there's none of them here, and possibly that's why none of them have won it since. I think the biggest knock about the horse is the jock. He's a very good jockey, don't get me wrong, in Europe, but I just think they're not to the level of previous international jockeys to win this race, and that makes me a little bit worried. The other thing that makes me worried is what I mentioned with River of Stars. So Presage Nocturne was $61 there in that Caulfield Cup. Yes, ran very well. You're now taking $8.50 his third favourite. It's just all, as I said off the very top, with the way that the SP works in this race, it's all so price-based, but I thought it was a great run, and it would not shock me to see the horse win. Gee, I just wish we put, or that they put, I know they were never going to, but it would have been nice to see a local jock on it.
Yeah. I'm not sure about it. It's got me all ends up, and all I can say is $8.50 is too short because of that wet truck failure just grazed me up completely. Like that was if that didn't exist and he finished midfield, you'd be like, yeah, no problem. But it was a hard watch watching it because I felt like I had to sort of say he's gone from a genuine probable to just a possible, and hoping that there was some genuine excuses there, which we will get body on the weekend preview, or the weekend preview. It will be the Melbourne Cup preview show with Gareth. So we'll get to ask him that question if there was any excuses, and that'll be tomorrow around tomorrow around lunchtime. So better get some answers there for the punters. Valiant King here, lads. If I had said to you 6 weeks ago that Valiant King could win a Melbourne Cup, like you would have had check. I probably need my head checked anyway, but like good and proper, go have a good hard look at yourself stuff. Fast run races, this horse has just jumped out of the ground. He's like a pure stayer. Like handles rain affected going. Jai McNeil, barrier 10, C Waller, ticks all the boxes, Dino, all the boxes.
Yeah, in phenomenal form. And we've seen horses that are in form coming into this race always run really, really well. The only slight knock I could suggest was got the perfect run in the Caulfield Cup, Saloon Passage up the inside. We've got every possible chance. Are we overplaying that potentially? But then you look back, compared to River of Stars, who had no form prior to that effort in the Caulfield Cup, this horse panel beat it in the start before, 51 kilos, perfect gait. I don't think you can be against it at all, and maybe just needs fast run races. Will it get that? I'm not sure, but does it need to get that from gate 10? It's not going to be that far back. I think it's a massive chance. Handles the wet fine as well. 3,200 metres should be no issue at all looking at its closing splits. Last two starts loose. So, yep, top 5 chance for sure.
Yep, it is absolutely flying. That Bart Cummings, when you mentioned Dino, was just so good from back and off a hot speed. Still went quick from back in the field and raced away with them with strong late sectionals. The Caulfield Cup run, again, unreal. Had the right passage in transit, but was still so good to be a length and a half off half yours. My concerns are, where does it get to from the gate? I just hope they don't fall too far back in the ruck from barrier 10, which is kind of what's been happening in its last two starts. It's gotten a long way back in those races. And the winning strike rate, 2 from 19. I know one of them was two starts ago, but I just, I want to be with it so badly. And then I just go, as you mentioned, Gano, 6 weeks ago, it was no chance. It's burst onto the scene. It's a low winning strike rate. I really want to be with it, and then I can't, kind of. So top 5 chance for sure. But yeah, still nothing has made my on-top selection, which there's only one horse left.
Oh, there you go. It got beaten 5.5 lengths last year as well in the Cup. And different horse this time in. Obviously, that 3,200 meter box is one that you'd have to tick. But when I say ticks all the boxes, hasn't won at 32, but what it's done at a very, very fast pace suggests that the 3,200 meters is absolutely no issue. Then he talked about horses that have failed and then gone on to win. Off the top of my head, and Louis, you might be aware of a few more, but I'm pretty sure Fiorente was like one of the first in recent memory, and then went without a fight, and maybe even very elegant, then without a fight. So there's been a couple that have
yeah, there has been actually. That's
gone average and then gone really good, like the old lose one to win one sort of setup.
Yeah.
But I think I got this horse on top. Really, really keen. Think it's just right place, right time. The other horse that you have to be keen on. They bought it because of the wet tracker. He's producing Curie Peaks on dry decks. Is Half Yours, Louis. You seem really keen about this horse, so I'll throw it to you.
Yep, I just was left with it, to be honest. I can still poke holes in Half Yours as well. The one hole I can poke is that it's been up for a very long time. This is a long preparation. Is there one more big 3,200 meter grand final run left in the tank? You've got to trust the McAvoys, I guess, that there is. Obviously, the Caulfield Cup win had a good run, but was a good winner. Chased down Sir Delius prior to that, and that was kind of when we knew, okay, this horse is on song to do something. Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup.
Louis, sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Was the run like? There's been a lot made about had the best run of the race. Was it really? Did it really have the best run? Like, there's plenty of the horses back to the inside that had just as good, probably had better runs in it.
So I just think it had a good run.
Good run.
I'm not saying it had, it didn't have everything served up to it on a platter. I just think it didn't have to do anything outside the box really to come and win that race. And then, as mentioned, behind Sir Delius, Pryor was good. Handles, if it rains, no worries. If it stays dry somehow, no worries. Like, it is just all no worries for it. Gets a great gate, barrier 8, 53 kilos. It landed to the top pick because I could poke less holes than some others. But then I'm left with the favourite in the Melbourne Cup at 650. And so after this whole preview this morning and going through this, I'm also almost a bit flat coming on Dino because I wanted to find something at big odds and blah, 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 and just never could. So anyway, Half Yours.
Dead set feels criminal trying to tip the favourite in the Melbourne Cup. And that's honestly that in my back of my mind, I just somewhat looked past it straight away because I was like, yep, favourites never win in this race. But it is as good as a favourite as you'll see for the Cup. Like, its lead ups, what it's doing, the form around it ties into all the form. It was outstanding off a hot tempo in a Caulfield Cup, once wet. So it's a phenomenal price. And you look at it compared to Presage Nocturne and you're getting sort of $2 less. So I would suggest it's a much better chance on a heavy deck than that horse. So price related, I wish it was big because to go against history in the stats, but I think it somewhat picks itself. I'm struggling not to put on top is probably the way I'll put it, Gunnar.
Yeah, and the horse that was at weight for age in Turnbull really, really good. And you talk about weight for age horses carrying 59 kilos. I think he announced himself as a weight for age horse, and he's only got 53 kilos. Like this kickoff, I don't have a whole lot between them, but I just sort of went with Valiant King as a slight price edge. But Valiant King on top for me, Half Yours second, River of Stars third for me. Louis, give us your top 3.
Can I give you 4? So Half Yours to beat Valiant King, 1 and 2, and then my 2 double figure chances for 3 and 4. Flatten the Curve and Arapaho.
Dino?
I'll go Half Yours on top just from Prestige Nocturne. If it's a soft track, I'll probably switch them around. Valiant King, and then I threw in Buckaroo and Our Ripper as the 2 sneaky chances outside of that.
Yeah, if you wanted some sneaky chances outside of Valiant King, Half Yours, River Stars, my top 3, I'd throw in Vauban and Flatten the Curve. Anything else to add, lads? It's going to be a great race, great day of racing. If you want Dino stuff, DeanWatling.com, my stuff, thegreattipoff.com. Louis, morning line for you?
No, that's being conducted from Melbourne this week. So
you won't be down here?
No, I'm not there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm just. You'll catch me on Sky One between probably like 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock.
There's a meeting at Muswellbrook. Maybe you can go up there and cover that.
Yeah, I might nip up there. We'll see how we go. No, it's going to be, to be fair, all jokes aside, it's actually a pretty easy week for me. So don't tell the bosses, huh?
Don't let them know. TheGoToBuff.com for all your articles. Get around it. If you want to be part of the duck race, simply let us know who's going to win the Melbourne Cup. Let us know why, and you'll be weighted accordingly. Lads, big week ahead. We might put out some tips on the comments about Stakes Day, et cetera, et cetera. Louis,
yes, just quickly,
30 seconds.
Yeah. If we don't do a Monday show, that horse that I backed to win on Saturday that didn't accept its running in the last on Cup Day, Pondalawi in the last.
And doesn't mind it wet.
B4, It's drawn $20. Get on.
Love it. Righto. We'll be back. See ya.
See you, boys.